to blow up. I'm the bomb and I'm about to blow up. Whoa, 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 everybody sing it now. Whoa, whoa, everybody sing it now.
Even in today's world of pandemics and uncertainty and misery, miracles do still exist. And the proof is here, as you see this smiling little green lady floating above a beautiful blue and green planet. Yes, miracles do exist, because I, MARKOUT TV, am actually recording a video. I know. What is wrong? Well, what's wrong is that I'm bored. That's what's wrong. Usually, at this point, I'd be trying to fix my computer, or I would be out, or I would be working, or I would be sleeping. But I'm actually awake, home, my PC works, and I'm bored. So I'm recording a video. Since my PC has worked, which is only a couple weeks, I have gotten big into Kerbal Space Program. It kind of speaks to me perfectly. It's like a game that involves some level of creativity, but it's manageable, where there's a lot of learning, and I can't emphasize the learning enough. Like, you can really learn, like, how to take a thing and put it in space. Like, you really do learn these things. So I'm going to start a career mode. Now, I haven't gotten super far in my career mode. The most I've done is land a rover on Duna. So I'm not like great at the game, but you know, enough that I can kind of start from the beginning and just see how far we get. I'm pretty stoked. This is going to be a nice chill video compared to what I usually do. This is not, like I said, I'm not great at the game. This is not going to be like a Scott Manley tutorial series. I'm going to kind of explain everything I'm doing, but don't take this as a tutorial. So once you start a career mode, this is the mode where you really have to pay attention to your money, which is up here, and your science, which is up here. Money is what you use to build ships. Science is what you use to unlock more parts. So once you get science, you'll go from your basic parts, which are over here, and you'll get bigger and better and better and better things until you can have huge rockets and big rovers and huge landers and satellites and everything to your heart's content. That's what you do with science, and then you'll take them to the vehicle assembly building, or if you're into planes, the space plane hangar, and you'll use them to build stuff. First place you should go, though, is mission control and see what missions you have. So, orbit Kerbal, we are definitely not ready to do that. Escape the atmosphere, we're definitely not ready to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is launch our first vessel, accept, and gather scientific data, accept. That works out perfectly because we have a maximum of 2 missions that we can do. So now we're going to go to the vehicle assembly building. We're going to talk to this little green man called Werner von Kerman. We're going to pretend that we read everything he said and X him out. Okay, here's our vehicle assembly building with our little green men getting ready to build a rocket. And this is, you know, not that I'm an expert, but it is kind of like building a rocket. But it's basically taking all the parts that you would see in a rocket and some very Kerbal style parts and using them to make something that will fly. We're going to start with a command pod, obviously. This is where our pilot is going to sit and control the vehicle. And then from there, you kind of want to build backwards. So the last kind of thing that you'll do is the first thing you want to put down. So for me, that's this parachute. Because you're going to fly, and then as you're about to go down, you are going to launch your parachute. Sorry, I was kind of reading my text there. Very unprofessional. This first thing that we're going to do is we're going to launch. And to do that, we're going to use a solid fuel booster. There's many different types of engines in this game, but really primarily what you're going to have at the beginning is solid fuel and liquid fuel. Right now, we only have a solid fuel booster. Solid fuel boosters have a lot of punch, a lot of thrust to weight ratio. Their disadvantage is that once you fire up a solid fuel booster, you can't stop it. Whereas liquid fuel in this game, you can throttle with it, you can kind of go half power, full power, you can cut it off, you can restart it. So generally you're going to be using liquid fuel engines, but right now this is what we have. So we have 2 missions. Launch our first vessel, that's already prepared, and gather scientific data from Kerbal. For that, we're going to need... Well, honestly, we can do that with what we have, but we really want to maximize the amount of science that we can get. So I'm going to take these mystery goo units, and I'm going to take 3 of them, and I'm going to... Hold up. I'm going to snap it on, just like this. So now we're going to be able to get a mystery goo experiment from the launch site while we're in the air and when we're landed. Now we're probably going to land in the water, but really that's for these first 2 missions. That's everything we need, so we can go to the launch pad. Now there's a risk, depending on how hard you land and the direction that you land, that these things can get destroyed if it's a hard landing or if there's some heating. We're not going to have to worry about heating for this launch, but just in case, what we're going to do is we're going to take this mystery goo data, which is going to give us 3 science, and we're actually going to collect it now. While we're here, we're going to also do our crew report, and now we're going to EVA with Jebediah. He's going to take this data. So now instead of this data being here and getting destroyed if this gets destroyed, we'll have it with us inside our capsule. We're also going to take the crew report and we're going to put it back. This way we can continue doing crew reports after we launch. So once we're in the air, we're immediately going to observe the mystery goo again, and we're also going to do a crew report. We're going to aim to try to land in the water over there. It shouldn't be that difficult. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we shall launch. Observe mystery goo and start pointing this way. Keep experiment. We can do our crew report. Keep that. And we're already out of solid fuel. But we are also over the water. Perfect. So once we start going back down, if we're at a reasonable speed, I will pop the parachute. We can start. I don't even have SAS on. I should have had some kind of stability assist on, but it's not crucial particularly. We are going slow enough. Are we going back down yet? No, not quite. This is just me being stupid. I really could have just kept the trajectory that we had. Maybe I'll turn stability on. Yeah, there we go. Nice and easy. We're headed back down. I'm gonna wait to till we maybe get to a certain level. I just don't want to speed up so much that my parachute becomes broken, but I think we're fine. So I'm gonna pop my chute, and you can see that we're immediately slowing down. Now around 1,000 meters, this parachute's gonna pop, and that should bring us down to, I would say, about 10 meters per second will fall down, which should be enough to safely land right in the water. There's our parachute popping. We slow down. We are at... Ooh, even better than I thought. Less than 7 meters per second. So now it's just coasting back down. When we splash down, we're going to do this experiment. And we'll also, once again, do our crew report and our outside of the ship EVA report. That'll be a decent haul of science, yeah, to unlock some more things. I just tip myself that way so that when I EVA, I'll come out without getting wet. You know, it probably didn't matter, but I did it anyway. So we're going to collect our data so that we can do a crew report when we get back in there. And we're going to do an EV airport. Keep experiment. We're going to board. We're going to do a crew report. And we're going to do a less mystery goo. Keep. And recover vessels. So we have successfully taken a little green man. We launched him into the sky. We landed. And he's alive. And our reward for all that is almost 30 science. So that's going to be enough to get some stuff. And we're already up from about 25,000 science to 135,000. We're going to go here. We're going to unlock some stuff. Basic rocketry is going to give us access to our first liquid fuel engine. Like I explained before, liquid fuel engines are pretty awesome. And we're going to have a liquid fuel tank. So we're going to research that. We're going to get the engineering too, because that's going to give us our second science experiment, which is thermometer. We have 31 left. So let's see. We can get general rocketry, which will give us a more powerful liquid fuel engine, a bigger fuel tank, and a pretty impressive solid fuel booster. I'm surprised at that. Wow. I'm surprised that that's so low on the tech tree. This will give us a radial decoupler, which is pretty cool, and some aerodynamics. Not bad. This gives us heat shields, which is going to be very important when we start leaving Kerbin's atmosphere. There's going to be some re-entry heating, so we're going to want heat shields. More importantly, right now, we're going to have another science experiment. In fact, I'm going to get that. And now we have not enough for this, which will probably be the next thing I get. Although the radial decouplers and the nose cone and the wings are pretty cool. Right now, I'm going to go back to mission control and let's see. Test solid. This immediately looks like an easy mission. Test a solid fuel booster at the launch site. This is actually the solid fuel booster I think that we just used. So we know that we can do this. Splash down decoupler. That's easy. These things that are like a conduct a focused observational survey. These are meant to be done with planes. I'm not going to be messing with planes in this video. Or probably any of the career mode videos. Because I'm still learning how to use splash planes. We could probably... Actually, we could probably escape the atmosphere already. But I'm not going to do that yet. Activating a swivel liquid fuel engine on a suborbital trajectory. Very doable, but this height, that's crazy. Same thing. You're not going to ever haul a solid fuel booster into a suborbital trajectory, so we can get rid of that. We can get rid of the focused observational surveys. Just so the game knows not to give those again. And then we have radial decouplers we can do at the launch site, and a heat shield that we can do landed. So what I'm going to do, because we can only do 2, is I'm going to spend I think it's 75,000, and I'm going to accept these missions too. So, hammer solid fuel booster at launch site, heat shield at launch site, and the rest of these are kind of not great. So let's see. Let's see what we can do. So I think I have 2 different solid rocket boosters that they want me to use right now. It's a bit annoying. Let's see. So, command pod. Okay. Let's get this going. Now which... So it wants us to do both the hammer and the flea. That's interesting, but didn't they give us the T12 decoupler? So I don't think there's really a realistic way. I mean, I can just... Alright, you know what? Screw it. Hold on. T12 decoupler splash down at Kerbin. Huh. This is actually a little complicated. Okay. We might not do everything at once. But we're going to take the 2 hot thermometers. We're going to put those on. We don't really need to use 3-way symmetry for the thermometers, but it's good right now because I haven't unlocked the ability to do EVAs yet that are while we're in the sky. That should be fine. It's not sexy, but it should be fine. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of these and one of these, and then that'll kind of be like our final level of control, because we're gonna then take this hammer solid fuel booster and these two, and we're going to launch them at the exact same time so that both of these conditions are settled at the same time. And then we're going to land with this portion of it. In fact, I'm going to get rid of some of the fuel here, and I'm going to get rid of all of the fuel here, just so we really have like as much Delta V as possible for this, because it's not the sexiest thing ever. I'm going to take a look at my contracts again. Okay. So. Oh, heat shield. Fuck. Alright. I don't need a heat shield for this mission in terms of practicality, but they want me to test it. So, I'm going to test this. We're going to launch this, and that's going to be 3 of the missions already satisfied. And then we're hopefully going to be able to splash down and decouple and satisfy that. This is already, for this early in the game, this is biting off a lot. I should have also put fins on this, but I wasn't thinking too clearly. You can't be thinking clearly when you go with a rocket design like this. Okay, so we have new science experiments, so we're going to log... Actually, I'm going to go with the back ones because they're the hardest ones to look at. So we're going to log that, keep. Okay. My staging all looks good. Oh, no, it doesn't. The last thing we're doing is decoupling, because we're going to do that while we're splashed down. Alright, this mission can go pretty terribly. Let's, I'm gonna get my thermometer. Actually, while I'm here, sorry. I'm actually gonna collect this science, because there's literally no reason not to. Okay. Alright. So now, when we launch, we're going to do our experiments. This thing is gonna really friggin' jump. I'm just going to say 3, 2, 1. Okay. Actually, I'm going to put my throttle up too for when... Well, not all the way up. Maybe that much. So that when we decouple this, we'll already be, we'll be ready. Huh. Alright. 3, 2, 1. Yup! Oh my god. Keep experiment. Keep experiment. Turn. Turn, you bitch. You really can't turn, can you? This thing can't turn. That's the reason why I gave, put a liquid fuel engine in here. So that I could still direct this thing to splash down in case this isn't possible. Oh no! I have to revert. See? This is why this isn't a tutorial, because I'm stupid. I forgot to test the heat shield. One of our missions, which you'll see when this thing turns green in a second, was to test the heat shield at the launch site. Run test, this turns green, that means we satisfied that requirement. We're also going to run the temperature and pressure, keep. We're going to EVA, and we're going to take the data, and we're going to take the data, we can store it, go back. And again, I kind of wanted to put wings on here for aerodynamics and hope that I could use the SRBs to kind of direct myself towards the water. But just in case, that's why I took the liquid fuel engine with me too. Just in case I really have to point sideways and just shoot myself towards the water. because the last mission, after we satisfy these two requirements, is to test the T12 decoupler when we splash down. That's going to be the hardest part of this mission, by the way. That's not going to be the most fun thing ever. 3, 2, 1. Beep! These two are done. Log temperature. Collect. I'm going to start turning and try to get the pressure data. Got it. Okay. I think I already did a crew report from... Yep, I did. So, no point in that. Decouple. And I think I actually won't really need this, but just in case, I'm just going to put a little spit that way. And, okay. I'm going to stabilize. I'm still going to try to point, just in case, I'm going to try to point a little bit this way and hit it again. Okay. We should be okay. Like, at this point, this thing is going to land safely. Now the only stressful thing is making sure that we kind of slow down in a way that we kind of come straight down, which is what I'm doing here. I'm trying to slow down, slow down, slow down, and I'm out of fuel, so we're going pretty slow. Oh no! God, I fucked up the staging. Guys, I fucked it up. I forgot to change the staging back. I'm gonna revert again. See? 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 This is the reason why I said I'm not Scott Manley. And I'm leaving my mistakes in, because I take pride in my stupidity. Okay. We release the parachute before we decouple. Okay. We're going to test the heat shield. Run it. We're going to log temperature. We're going to log pressure. Bep, bep. We're going to EVA. Take the data. Take the data. Store the data. Board. We're going to already go about half throttle for when the liquid fuel comes into play. But beyond that, we're going to get ready to log our in-flight experiments of the temperature and the pressure. And we're going to hit it. Log. Keep. Log. Keep. We're already out of fuel in the small solid rocket boosters. I think this is going to be enough on its own, once again, to get us over the water. Yes, it will. Decouple. And we really don't need this thing at all. We don't need the liquid fuel engine whatsoever. But just because I brought it with me, I might as well send myself this way a bit. And then, with the fuel I have left, I'm going to point myself towards this retrograde marker, and that's going to slow our trajectory down enough that we should come pretty much straight down. That's what we want, because I want as much time as possible, because we're not going to have a lot of time at all to decouple this thing. Now I'm going to launch the parachute and hope that this will slow our descent just a bit. But I like how this retrograde marker, which is basically pointing in the opposite direction that the ship is headed, I like how close it is to straight down, to the point where I'm actually going to turn stability off and let gravity do the work here. I'm going to change the altitude for the deployment because I didn't like how fast we were just going. This should slow us down enough without ruining the parachute. We were going really fast just now. A little bit too aerodynamic on the landing there. Okay. Oh, we actually got to see our solid booster splash down there. So, our last part of the mission here is to splash down and test this decoupler, which means that as soon as I hit the water, I need to mash the space button and hope against hope that I'm able to get the decoupler decoupled. It's actually really quick timing you have to have here. And it looks like I was a little too quick. Oh well, not the end of the world. We were able to get most of that done. What I should have done was quick save. But we got 20 more science. We go here, and we'll just have to do the decoupler another time. General rocketry now. We're going to get the bigger fuel tanks. And I think that's about all that I'm going to want to do. Alright, for the radial decouplers, I'll do this. But that's a general idea of where, like, this goes. Now with the Thumper solid fuel engine, which is kind of actually overkill, we really do have everything we need to get into space. But let's see what our missions are. Escape the atmosphere, I'm going to select now, because that's really what all that we need. Oh my god. Decoupler tests at the launch site. These are the best. It's just quick, easy money. No to this. No to this. Test the heat shield at the launch site. Yes to that. Test the decoupler at the launch site. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is off camera, I'm going to clean up the smaller missions, including the decoupler test that I just messed up. And in the next part, the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to go to space. I'm actually excited about this. So, until that time, I will see you when I see you. Bye-bye.
I'm the bomb and about to blow up. I'm the bomb and I'm about to blow up. Whoa.